And we're live. Amazing, amazing. Good morning, everybody. Well, I mean, I keep saying good morning. It's morning here for me. I got my coffee going, but we're global. So you guys could be anywhere in the world right now. So good afternoon, good evening. Please let me know in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. As you can tell, I'm super excited for another amazing workshop coming up. We're getting technical again. We have Antoine Vuyst here with us. And I'm going to ask him a few questions while we wait for folks to keep on trickling into the room. But it's going to be amazing. We're going to learn how to create our own ERC20 tokens. So cool. Antoine, how you doing this morning?
Great. Yeah, always good to do this tutorial. People have a good time with it. It's kind of like making your own money. So it's yeah, it's always fun. I'm doing good.
Sweet, sweet. So yeah, quick question. I like to find out from folks. Are you a morning person or a night person?
Probably more of a night person.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm in that boat too. But during block hack times, I've just been wired the entire time. I'm
Yeah,
always
you're just like a
excited.
24/7 person.
Yeah, I'm excited to be engaged with the community the entire time. So we had you on earlier this week to do a workshop on Ethereum.
Mhm.
Have you been able to catch any of the other talks? Like, what other talks stood out to you? What are you really excited about?
Yeah, I don't have any particular favorites, but the blockchain 101 was solid. By Eric Pinos.
Mm,
Yeah, I was just impressed at how he broke the the stuff down. I've heard a lot of blockchain 101s, but he covered it well and explained a lot of the basics um, really well, actually. I found. Um, I missed proof of work versus proof of stake one, but I think I should go watch that. Um, Jerry's talk about BCH app development was good too, explaining a lot about UTXOs and how Bitcoin works, which is uh, also very valuable.
yeah, like that one in particular was so info packed.
Yeah,
I learned
true.
so much. Like I thought I knew Bitcoin to a reasonable degree. I'm not
Right.
a master of everything, but like I learned so much in that talk, and so that's why I'm super grateful that we're recording these and they're up on our
Yeah,
crowdcast indefinitely for folks to go back and watch those and pause because it's a very dense topic. A lot of these
yeah,
technical workshops, so they're
yeah.
always going to be there for you to go back and pause and go through at your own pace.
That intro to BCH app development is yeah, it's very good for understanding Bitcoin Cash, but also for understanding Bitcoin better as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course the one I did I was personally a favorite of mine. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but yeah, just the fact that you can use it to build an actual working decentralized app on Ethereum.
Yeah.
The hands-on aspect is something that I find very crucial and powerful, and under um, and underutilized. Well, the fact that it's hands-on is good because a lot of people don't do hands-on stuff a lot.
Right.
So yeah, how to create a dApp on Ethereum. I would check that out, and yeah, I mean,
Cool.
um, those would be my picks.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for your feedback there. There's and that's just the first week. Like you're the last workshop right now of the first week. So we've already
Yeah.
had a super dense packed first week and we've got several more weeks to go. So
Mhm.
looking forward, we have the schedule all up on our crowdcast. You can look forward and see. And if you want a more of a calendar schedule view, you can take a look. At the schedule on our portal.blockhack.ca, and you can see all of the things moving forward. Is there anything on that schedule that's standing out to you, Antoine? Like one that
Yeah,
you're
so I
really
was
looking forward
looking
to?
at it, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of interesting ones. My personal preference is the ones that are more hands-on, like I said before. Um, so I mean, to be honest, they all look really good. Um, but yeah, I like I'm definitely gonna check out the introduction to the Simple Ledger protocol. Um, it's a really cool platform that not a lot of people are using right now on Bitcoin Cash. And there's a lot of opportunity there because it works. It has the backing of a really good cryptocurrency and team. This is SLP I'm talking about, and there's not a lot of people working on it. So if you go work on it, they'll kind of like take you with open arms because they just want more engagement, especially from developers. So
Yeah.
that's a really huge opportunity to join that network and get a lot of rewards. Um, yeah, I can't really overstate that. Like right now, it's just like a lot of people are focused on Ethereum, and there's all these other projects that are just desperate for devs, and they'll basically roll out the red carpet for you. Is what I'm saying. So go do
That's
that.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm highly looking forward to SLP. Like, Jerry touched on it a little bit in his talk earlier, but we're gonna go really deep into SLP in that workshop. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, huge shout
yeah.
out to SLP because they put up some challenges for us and incentivizing you guys to build on their technology, and you can get rewarded for it. So that's
And
amazing.
and I will say, even if you're not a developer, don't be discouraged. Like if you just have the passion for it, you can learn. It's not rocket science, and you don't even have to be like a really good developer to be able to do this stuff. Um, yeah, it's just there's just a learning curve, and even if you're not a developer, you can still do that. It's still possible.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Specifically because we're like we want to build businesses through this hackathon. So we've invited entrepreneurs, people with no technical backing, designers.
yeah,
These workshops are for you as well because you don't necessarily need to know how to implement it, but it's going to be beneficial to know how to talk to your devs on your team and have to come to some sort of common language and common understanding. So these workshops are definitely for you as well. So I highly suggest looking forward in their schedule. And if you go on Crowdcast, you can save your spot by clicking that button. It'll give you a countdown to when these are starting, and you'll also get a notification. If you click notification, you'll get an email letting you know when we're going live, so you never miss it going live. Because the super benefit of tuning in live is if you look down at the bottom of the screen, there's an ask a question button. So if
yeah.
at any point in time, sorry, did you want to say something, Antoine?
No, go ahead. I'll say it after.
Cool. So if at any point in time during these workshops, if you have a burning question, you're not understanding something, you need to ask a question, go on down to that ask a question button and type it in there. And if you see questions already in there that you want to know the answer to, you can upvote questions and make sure they get to the top of the list just in case we don't have time to go through all of them. And take a look just beside the ask a question button. There is a polls button, and we've got a few polls out already, and it looks like some folks are answering. Let's see what we got here. So have you ever created an Ethereum token before? We have a majority, 60% are saying nope, but this is going to be their first one. Oh, whoa, the poll is changing right before my eyes. That instantly just switched. We have 57% saying yes, they have created ERC20 tokens. Interestingly, nobody yet has made an Ethereum token that is not an ERC20. So as we know, there are several other standards out there. One's for NFTs, I think that's 721. And then there's another interesting one that I found out about. I can't remember the number, but it's specifically for securities. It's for these financial instruments that are being built on Ethereum. So that's super interesting. Now we're dead even. We have 50% saying yes, they've made ERC20s. 50% saying nope, this is going to be their first one. So that is the type of thing that I love to see. I love to see a nice balance of technical people and non-technical people going at it at the same time, hand in hand, and supporting each other. That's all. That's what this event is all about. Let's take a look at some other questions here. It looks like everybody, 100% of polled people want to create their own currency. So that's very cool. And then I asked, how many currencies do you think there should be in the world? and this is an interesting one. It's changing again as I'm asking it. So we have 14% people saying one currency to rule them all. There's just one. We can all guess which one that might be. There's 42%. Whoa, 50% now saying that there should be hundreds of currencies. Nobody's saying there should be thousands of currencies, which technically, if you take a look at our, Coin Market Cap or
This is what
CoinGecko,
we have today. Yeah.
there's like last time I checked, it's getting close to 8,000 different tokens and coins out there. A lot of them have kind of stopped producing, but there are so many. The amount of choice out there, it's staggering for people, new people coming to the industry. So I think we kind of touched on that in the BE Works talk, where analysis paralysis, when there's so many options, it becomes very difficult to even want to get involved. So I think that's a piece there that needs to be addressed in the community. And we also have 37% saying that there should be one currency per person. So, I'm going to create Joran coin. Antoine, you're going to have Antoine coin. Everybody's going to have a coin just for them. And, that's a very interesting concept too. Seeing people tokenize themselves and tokenize their own time. Lots of interesting things are happening in this space, and we don't know where it's going fully. We have a dream and a destination kind of in mind, and we're all just marching along together, figuring it out. So that's what this workshop's going to be about. We're going to get our hands messy with some Ethereum code. Antoine's going to take it over and deliver us an amazing workshop. For those of you that just joined in, please help me welcome Antoine de Vuyst. He's the founder of BDU, the lead architect of DevCash, the bounty platform. He's one of our founding members of Bitcoin Bay, and he's also an amazing blockchain developer, and he's volunteered to be one of the mentors for this hackathon. So if you have any issues with developing your projects, specifically on Ethereum, he will help you out. You can find him in the Discord chat, and we have several channels there ready and waiting for you, and Antoine's there to catch you if you have any issues. So without any further delay, I'm going to make myself scarce, and Antoine, you can take over the stream. Welcome, Antoine.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say, check out the SLP workshops and the substrate workshops coming up on the calendar as well. Those are going to be very good. So, so an ERC20, very famous by now. There's millions and millions of dollars worth of ERC20 tokens out there that people hold in their wallets. So what is ERC20? How did it come to be, and how did people come to use it so much? And how do you create one? So we're going to be focusing more on the how do you create one part. What is it, and how do you create it? So let's just dive right into it. Let me share my screen. And at its core, the ERC20 is a standard for Ethereum smart contracts. And all the standard is just a list of function names and just function names and parameter names, and that's about it. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So right here, here's the best page to go to read about what the ERC20 standard is exactly. So if you read through here, the reason that we have a standard at all is to provide like cross functionality across apps. So any app can interact with any ERC20 token very easily. So you can just basically create an app that hooks up to ERC20 tokens and just works across any token. So let's see, is this the same link that we had before? Yes. Okay. All you really have to know, okay, is that the ERC20 standard consists only of the names of the functions that you have to add to your contract in order to meet the standard. So those names, there's 6 of them. So you need a function called name that returns a string. That's the name of your token. A function called symbol that returns a string. A function called decimals that returns how many decimal points your token has. A function called total supply that returns the total current supply of your token. A function called balance of that will return the balance of any address, the token balance. And yeah, so a function called transfer that will let you transfer tokens from your address to any other address. Transfer from that lets you transfer tokens from someone else's address to a third address. A function called approve, which lets you transfer token, which lets you give permission for another address to spend your tokens, and allowance, which just shows you, tells you how much one person has permission to spend out of another account. And then it needs these 2 events as well, the transfer and the approval event. And that, yeah, so transfer is when there's a token transfer, and approval is just when there's someone who approved another address to spend their tokens. So you can read through this and understand it fully. Let's see if there's yeah, this one is a little bit more concise. So essentially, I'm okay. So I actually misspoke earlier. These are the 6 functions. The name and symbol and decimals are just optional, really. So these are the ones you need. So if you want to create an ERC20 token, you need these 6 functions right here and these 2 events. And that's it. And you need to have these exact parameters. So basically, just read through it. And if you want to understand ERC20s, just understand all of these functions, their intended purposes, and the names of the parameters. So yeah, total supply, balance of, allowance, transfer, approve, and transfer from. Once you have those 6 functions in your contract, it does not matter what the code is in there. Even if there's no code at all and those functions are just empty, it would still be an ERC20 token. Even if the code was bad code and it stole people's coins, it would still be an ERC20 token. The standard doesn't say anything about the trustworthiness of the token. It just maintains that you have these exact functions and these exact events, and that is how people do like create apps that can interact with any ERC20 token. Because if it's ERC20, you know that it has these function names and these events, and that's it. Most tokens also have these 3 optional characteristics as well, which is the name of the token, the symbol of the token, and the decimals. It's not part of the ERC20 standard, but most tokens have these anyways. So when we deploy our token, we're gonna use these as well. So yeah, let's look at the sort of like a standard implementation to understand exactly how ERC20 tokens are supposed to work. Like I said, you could put any code that you want in there, any code at all, as long as it, you know, it's valid smart contract code. and it would still be an ERC20. And people might not trust it, but that's not what the standard is about. The standard is simply about the names of the functions and the names of these events, and that's it. It's not about anything else. So here is part of an ERC20 smart contract that somebody wrote. Let me just put this link in the chat here. So what people do is they create a mapping in Solidity. So a mapping is just a list of variables that are related to another list of variables. So in this case, there's it's like a table of addresses mapped to integers. So it's a list of addresses, and for each address there's an integer. So what this represents, this mapping is called balances, and it represents a list of balances of that token that are just stored inside the smart contract. So whenever you want to find out somebody's balance, you just look it up in this mapping right here, and you see, okay, this is the balance for this address. And yeah, so that's pretty simple. There's also this allowed balance, slightly more complex. Won't go into it too much, but it tracks how much each address is allowing for any other address to spend on their behalf. Yeah, and that's useful for a variety of reasons. One of the main reasons is it's useful for third-party apps to be able to spend your tokens on your behalf. Makes things more smooth in many cases. So,
quick question about that, Antoine. So
yeah.
is that like when I go to say Uniswap and
Yeah.
I have to like approve this a token before I start trading it, that I'm calling that function?
That is what that is. You're calling this approve function right here. The approve function is one of the 6 functions of the ERC20 standard. So when you're doing that with trading on Uniswap, you have to do an approval to the smart contract, approve the smart contract to spend your tokens. So that's what that is, yeah.
Very cool.
You're calling this approve function. So yeah, it's used. Like, you know, when you first look at it, you might not see the usefulness of it, but when you start using crypto and you start using Ethereum and dApps, and especially when you start building dApps, you start to realize the usefulness of it very quickly. And it's really like you have to give credit to those who thought of the ERC20 standard years back before any of this existed, and they thought of this approve and transfer from functionality. That was really not clear at the time how it would be used, but now it is very clear. So very amazing foresight. So yes, balance of. Okay, function balance of. Very simple. It simply returns the balance of the address that you give it. So you have to give it an address as a parameter. You want to find out the balance of that address, and it just gives back the balance of that address. Couldn't be simpler. And now here's the real meat of the ERC20 token. You know, in a sort of intuitive sense. So here's like a standard implementation of this transfer function. And what it does is you give it an address to send to, and you give it an amount of tokens. And what it does is it subtracts that amount from your address, and it adds that amount to the address that you gave it. So yeah, I mean, I'll just repeat that again, because that's kind of just the core of it. When you send an ERC20 transfer, your address goes -5 and their address goes +5. That's literally what's happening. So it's not like there's any real valuable physical asset going around. It's just maintaining a ledger, and the rules are that when you transfer, yours has to go -5 and theirs has to go +5. And theirs can't go +5 without yours going -5. Now that's the standard implementation. You can easily code it differently and say that theirs goes +5 and yours doesn't go -5. And it would still be an ERC20 because it would just have the same function name. Would people trust it? That's a different question. Who knows? People could come up with all kinds of different rules, and you never know what's going to happen. But pretty much all the ERC20s have this standard implementation where when you send a token, yours goes -5 and theirs goes +5. So
is there anywhere there where it checks if I
that's
actually
the
have
thing.
balance?
MITUPS it has to check that you have enough balance to send, right? You need 5 tokens before you can send 5 tokens, right? So actually, so it's not showing on here. So these would be safe math functions, and it would just check inside the safe math function. But we'll be looking at we'll be deploying a different version where everything will be absolutely clear. Let's see if there's an example in here. No, there's not. But there's implementations here we can look at. So let's look at the consensus implementation because it's a little bit easier to understand. So here is the transfer function, right? So it's very clear here that when you call the transfer function, the first thing it does is check that your balance is more than or equal to the value that you want to send. So that's kind of like the normal implementation that people do. Again, you could do it differently if you wanted to, but people would probably be confused when they use it. That may or may not be a bad thing, but this is what most people do in almost all cases at the moment. They check that you have enough to send, then your balance goes minus the amount that you want to send, and the balance of the recipient goes plus the amount that you want to send. And then what it does is it emits a transfer event, which is just a log that goes on the blockchain on Ethereum, and it lets people track all the transfers that are happening. So this transfer event is very important too.
What happens if you don't put the transfer event?
If you don't put the transfer event, then it would be hard to for a whole variety of apps to track what transfers are happening. So, for example, Etherscan. When you look at Etherscan and you see all the token transfers that happen on Etherscan, that's if you didn't put the transfer event, then they wouldn't show up.
What if your goal here was, some people prefer anonymity if you just wanted to transfer?
I mean, definitely, if you didn't include this transfer event, you would definitely be able to increase anonymity to a very significant extent, to be honest, because almost all apps rely on that, and there's not any readily accessible blockchain explorers that will show all the transfers without the transfer event, because you would have to go into the blockchain history and see whenever it's different from the last block, and then deduce the transfers from that.
Right.
So you'd have to go into the blockchain history and read all the balances during every block, and whenever there's a balance change, right? It's not only that, but you'd have trouble figuring out who the balance was sent to as well. Yeah, that would definitely make things very a lot harder to track for most people. I have to think about it. I'm not even sure that there's a reasonable way to track it at all. That's I have to think about that actually. It's a good question.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, and then so that's transfer. So that's really the meat of the ERC20 smart contract is this transfer function, and just explained how it works. It's pretty simple. You just got to know that it's literally subtracting value and adding value at the same time to different addresses. Then there's transfer from, balance of, Transfer from, like I said before, you can spend someone else's tokens if you have permission. So it checks that you have enough permission to send the tokens, and that there is enough value in the contract as well. Then it does the same thing, essentially, and then it emits a transfer event as well. Yeah, and approve just lets you give permission to spend the tokens. So yeah, that's about it. That's the ERC20 code. Do people have questions about that so far? Yeah. Sorry, I'll send a link right here.
I put the link in the chat.
Okay.
I found it for you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So sorry, I should blow it up a little bit more probably. Yeah. Do people have questions about this?
So, so you said like we have to have those 6 functions, and like the events. So if I add like my own functions to alongside those 6 functions, does it automatically become something else, or does it still consider itself an ERC20? And like where
Yeah.
at
So
what
yeah,
point do you
that's a
become a
great
different?
question.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes it an ERC20 is whether or not you have those 6 functions. You can add whatever other functions you want, and it'll still be an ERC20. That's what it is.
Okay, so at what point? I guess
If
yeah.
you
There's
remove any of those functions, then it would no longer be an ERC20.
right, and so there's other standards like the 721, which we're probably not going to talk about, but they have their own specific functions that make them
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And in those cases, the standard is just the names of the functions and the names of the parameters and the events as well.
Okay.
So 6 functions, 2 events in the case of ERC20, and that's
Okay.
it.
Cool. We have another question here from the audience. The question is, how can a non-ERC20 contract be compatible with ERC21s?
Well, I mean, the whole thing about compatibility is you have to make it in ERC20, and the way you do
Right.
that is just by using the right functions. I mean, I guess if you use some of the right function names and not the others, it could be partially compatible, but you need to have all 6 to be fully compatible, and then that would by definition make it an ERC20.
Cool. I hope that answers your question there.
Yeah. But yeah, like, you can program whatever smart contracts you want. You can make it a non-ERC20, but if you're doing a currency, it's usually a good idea to make an ERC20 because that gives it a lot of just compatibility with everything that's out there right now on Ethereum. So, I mean, to be honest, you could have you could make it an ERC20 by adding those functions, and then you could you can do whatever the heck else you want as well. So yeah, it doesn't really prevent you from doing other stuff that you want. So yeah, it's not too much downside, I don't think. And yeah, you can always create your own rules. You can say that whenever you send a transaction, there's like a 50% chance that you lose all your money. If you wanted to, you could do that. there's no force stopping you from putting in crazy rules like that. So yeah.
That just gave me like so many fun ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
That's
the
awesome.
funny thing is you haven't seen a lot of people doing that right now. Like up till now, people are being pretty unimaginative when it comes to these tokens. They're just thinking about money all the time. So you haven't really seen a lot of variations on the sort of like standard implementations. This Open Zeppelin implementation and consensus implementation. It's pretty much the same exact code that's being reused across thousands and thousands of tokens. And I mean, it's not a bad thing. Like the thing that people are doing with the tokens is they're not like innovating with the token code itself. In some cases they are, but in a lot of cases they just take the token and then they interact. They use the token in other smart contracts. So it's not about innovating within the token for a lot of projects. It's about innovating with what do you do with the token once it's deployed. And that's the same question that you would ask yourself when you create a currency. It's like, great, I can create a currency. But what do I do with it? And then you ask yourself, when you create a currency, it's like, great, I can create a currency. That wasn't too difficult. But now, what do you do with it? How do you make it valuable? How do you make it people want to use it? That kind of thing. So
Yeah. Let's
yeah,
make double or nothing coin.
yeah,
50% when you
exactly.
send a transfer, 50% you double your money, 50% it disappears.
Yeah, exactly. Double or nothing. Yeah. So yeah, I
Awesome.
think we can start getting into the hands-on coding part. Does anyone have any issues or questions? If not, I'll move on. All right, so let's go to the next one. And the next thing to do is to, so we're going to use MetaMask and Remix to deploy the coin. So Remix is here, remix.ethereum.org. So you can go to Remix. It's a browser-based IDE, integrated development environment, which lets you program smart contracts like immediately in the browser. You don't need to install anything. So you can create a new file here and just call it like my token or something. Use a creative name. I'm gonna create like I'm gonna call my coin. Don't copy me token. Got it. So
Can we actually try? Oh, okay, never mind. You named it already. I was gonna say, can we actually try and make double or nothing coin right now?
yeah, sure we can.
You don't. We
Okay.
don't have to. It was just an idea.
Yeah. So you press this little button here to add a new contract, and you got to name them .sol. So yeah, so the next thing we have to do, if you don't have it already, you need MetaMask. So you got to go to metamask.io. I'm literally going to set up a new MetaMask account right now just to show people. So you go to metamask.io, you download it. It's a browser extension. If you already have MetaMask, you can skip this. So install MetaMask for Chrome. I'm on Brave right now, but it still says Chrome. That's fine. Looks like I already have it. So I just installed it. And then let's go to my Chrome extensions. Okay, so MetaMask. So, okay, so once you install MetaMask, then you just go and open it. And then you create a new wallet. I'm just going to create a dummy wallet now. Don't care if you guys see the keys because I'm never going to use it again. So just press I agree.
So while you're going ahead and creating this wallet, it's worth mentioning that this is the ultimate worst best practice. Like you would never actually do this in real life. Just like quickly agreeing to things without reading it, and you would want to never do this on the internet where people can see what your private keys are.
Yeah, yeah. Do not share this. Share. Okay, so it's fine for testing, but if you ever create wallet that's going to hold real value, do not share your screen first of
Yeah,
all. And yeah, you just gotta be more careful. In principle, it's fine to create a MetaMask wallet like this for production. You just have to be very careful with the seed phrase and not show it to anybody. Um, I've been telling people like even if someone just glances over your shoulder onto the computer, like you might think it's fine because there's no way they could ever remember it. But what if in the future there's memory recall technology and then they remember it like 30 years down the line and then steal all your funds? That could happen.
100%. We've
I know
watched
it sounds ridiculous now, but
enough
technology
sci-fi
moves
to
super fast. So I
watch.
got my seed phrase now. I'm just you just got to confirm the secret backup. I'm not bothering to back it up properly, but normally you would like write this down somewhere or save it in a uh, in a document or something. But for this, it's just for testing, and I'm going to throw it away later. So I'm just gonna you just gotta.
I think they're gonna make you. I think MetaMask
Well,
makes
yeah, they
you
make me
confirm.
write it back down, but I just put it in the address bar. Hidden,
Oh, I see. I see.
heavy, price, crap, exclude, price, 300x
And that's another amazing thing about crypto. Like you can store your keys to your money. You can hold your money in your brain. If you're able to memorize these words in the correct order, like maybe you make a song about it, like knock the kitten with the knuckle. Like, you know, you can make a whole song about it and memorize it, and you never even really have to write it down. But then, you know, that's, you know, as long as your memory stays true, then that works. But like, it's super fascinating that that's a possibility.
So I've created my wallet here, and I'm just going to send it out now. I'm going to buy. So I'm sorry. So yeah, you gotta get you gotta go on the Robson network and you use Robson. And when you're on Robson, you can just click the buy button, and you can go to the test faucet over here. So oh yeah, gotta, you gotta sign a message, connect the account, refresh, and then just request. Too many requests. Okay, I don't know if this is actually working right now, but there should be another faucet out there. This wasn't working last time I tried it. So Robson testnet faucet. There's another one here. Let's try and get this working. My address is here on the Robson network, and just paste some new test ether. Okay, so I should get some test ether soon. So while we're waiting for that, yeah, just explore MetaMask a little bit, just for the beginners. Yeah, you have your Ethereum balance here. This is your address. With your account, your seed phrase is able to generate like basically unlimited accounts. So you can create a new account and it just generates a new account for you. So you can just create as many accounts as you want to use for different purposes. And yeah, that's my Robson that's coming. Looks like this faucet's not working too well either. Maybe it'll take some time. What happened to the Robson faucet? Well, that's from 2017.
While you're doing a little debugging there, just to you know, for the folks that have joined in a little bit later, if you have any questions as we're going through this, make sure to use the Ask a Question button at the bottom of the screen. And right beside that, there are a few polls that we've put up. Have you ever created an Ethereum token? We're deadlocked at 50-50, and I love seeing that. That means we have like some technical folks mixed with some non-technical folks that are trying to get a little bit more technical, which is great. Basically, everybody wants to create their own currency, and when asked how many currencies you think there should be in the world, we've got a little uptick. When we first asked, there was a low percentage for one currency to rule them all, but we're at 22% now. 44% of folks are saying there should be hundreds of currencies. 0% say there should be thousands of currencies, but in reality, there are like close to 8,000 currencies now.
For now.
For now, yeah. A lot of them, I think, will fall to the wayside, and we'll start to separate the signal from the noise. But for now, we got so much to sort through. And we got 33% of folks saying there should be one currency for every person. So I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, all the who do we have in the chat here? I'm looking forward to picking up some Norbit coin. Looking forward to picking up some Jerry coin, some Alwyn coin, some SS coin, some Jerome coin, and George coin. Are you all gonna make your own currencies and send me a little bit? I hope so.
All right, so it looks like the Robson faucet is not working, but you can still use another test net, and it's going to work the exact same way. So let's just use Rinkeby. So Rinkeby's a little bit more annoying to get testnet. Well, you know what? I know there's a Gorley faucet that's easy to use. You don't get much, but it's fine for us right now. So let's go to the Gorley testnet, and then there's a faucet right here. Let me just put your thing in. You only get 0.05. There's other faucets too that you can use, and you get like 20 testnet F. Request. Let's go. Let's go.
So this is another very interesting concept when doing blockchain development, and you're building something that is made to exist. Are you ready to go?
Yeah. So the Gorley faucet works. So yeah. So I got 0.05 ETH now. Here's the link to the Gorley faucet. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So I've set up my MetaMask. I've gotten some testnet. Now, next step is to go on Unix and create a token. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna use this this consensus token because it's a little bit easier to understand than the opens up in one. It is using version 4 of Solidity, which is a slightly outdated, but it still works perfectly well. So what we can do now is there's actually so if we go to this link here that we put in the chat, it's the GitHub link, and so there's a GitHub called tokens, and then there's a folder called contract, and then there's a folder called ERP20. And what we're going to need is we're going to need these two ones, ERP20 interface.sol and ERP20.sol. So what we can do is just literally copy it directly into Remix. So if I go to ERP20 interface.sol, I can just copy this entire content. So I just click on raw and copy it. So I'm just copying this entire ERP20.sol here from the website that we provided on the chat. And yeah, if you can't see it, then you can also just search consensus tokens on Google. You'll find it. So put that into Remix. And here we have this compile. It automatically detects the version. So yeah, this is just the interface. This is the ERC20 standard part. The ERC20 standard is really just an interface, meaning it's nothing more than the names of the functions and the names of the parameters, and that is it. Nothing more than that. So if you can implement this interface, that means your token is an ERC20 token. If you implement this interface, your token is ERC20. It's as simple as that. Because this interface just uses all of these function names, these 6 function names, and these 2 events. So,
can you explain a little bit about what actually is the interface, like versus
the interface
the actual implementation?
It's just like a list of the names of the functions, and when you inherit it, you have to implement those functions, or you have to you have to implement them, or else it's going to throw an error. So
this is going to be for when we connect it to like a front end to some JavaScript, right? So it knows what functions exist to be able to call them?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's not just for JavaScript. It's for the smart contract and everything that interacts with the smart contract.
Okay.
Front end or no front end doesn't matter. The interface is what you need to make an ERC20 token. No more, no less. This is the standard right here. Yeah, and as you can see, there's no actual code inside the functions. This just shows it's the interface, so it only shows you the names and the parameters, and that's it. So yeah, names and parameters and stuff like that. And for example, with the events, is the name of the event and the event parameters as well. So so that's the ERC20 interface that I created here. Oh, sorry, not that one. Where we go? Oh, no, sorry. I'm just going to create a new thing here that says EIP20 interface. For those of you who may be wondering, EIP20 and ERC20 are two different names for the same thing. You don't have to worry about that. So I created a new file called EIP20 interface.sol, and I just pasted the code in there. Compile. So the next contract, the next Solidity file, it'll be the same contract, but the next Solidity file that we are going to put in is, oh, not that one, sorry. Where is it? The next one is the implementation. So here's an implementation that was built by consensus like 4 years ago. Still relevant. So we're just gonna get the raw code here and copy this and paste this into don't copy me coin. Don't copy me token.sol. So at the top of this, okay, it shows the version and it says import EIP20 interface. So it's basically importing the interface code. And then when I create the contract, it says it inherits the EIP20 interface. That means that it's inheriting all of the ERC20 function names. And if you inherit all those names and you do not implement them, it's going to throw an error. So for example, if I delete the transfer function, or say I delete yeah, well, basically it's going to force you to do that. If I delete the balance function, oh no, it doesn't force you. Sorry. There's the map balance of. Okay, it doesn't force you, but it basically enforces like the consistency of the names. So, all right. If you remove this part, it's going to give you errors. Yeah. So, yes. Yeah, this interface is really just there to help organize the just make it really clear that this is the ERC20 standard. And yeah, okay, so done. Here is the implementation. So basically, when you copy paste this code, you have everything you need to launch the ERC20 already, just done. And the only thing you have to do is change the variables of the name of the token and the decimals and the symbol. If you remember, these are the optional parameters that most people use. You can technically launch an ERC20 without this and be still in the ERC20, but most tokens have these. It's kind of a convention, you know, just to have the name the number of decimal points, and the symbol. So when you the way this token is being encoded, it actually just lets you directly put in the name and the decimals and the symbol that you want and the initial amount as you deploy the contract. So there's these constructed parameters that you can put in. So it actually makes it really easy to deploy your own token. You can just go like this, you know, I want an initial amount of 1,000 tokens. I want a token name of, you know, like don't copy me coin. And I want decimal units. I want decimal units of, like, you know, I want maybe 18 decimals. That's what a lot of tokens do, because Ethereum has 18 decimals. And the token symbol can just be, I don't know, DCMC or something. Whatever you decide.
Is there anything to consider when setting the decimal amount? Like, is there such thing as too many?
When you do your initial amount, if you want 1,000 coins and you have 18 decimals, you just have to add 18 extra zeros. So 1,000, 18 zeros. Yeah, you just have to add an extra number of zeros equal to the decimal that you're using, because the way that decimals work on the Ethereum, there's no such thing as fractions, right? So the way decimals work is, it just counts. When you put 18 decimals, it counts 1 with 18 zeros as one token. That way you can split it up into, you know, 18 decimals, and then it just the actual amount of tokens that you have on the smart contract will be this crazy number, right? But then when you go on the front end, for example, on MetaMask, I'll show you. You can add tokens. It'll take the decimals into account and display the intended amount of tokens. So, okay, so let's just go ahead and deploy this.
Is there such thing as too many decimals? Could I put like 100,000 like?
Well,
decimals?
You have to keep in mind the UINT 256. Well, basically, you can handle up to 256 decimals. So you would want less than that. If you put 255 decimal points, you could have at most 9.99999 tokens on your thing. Yeah, so yeah, but realistically, nobody usually goes above 18. It's extremely rare. Yeah, so that's pretty much the only thing you really have to worry about. So yeah, this is all the code is already here, ready for you. You have the transfer function that we went through already, you know, minus, you know, it subtracts from your balance and adds to the recipient. Transfer from, balance of, approve, allowance, and the events are inside the interface. So these events, you know, they just track whenever there's a transfer and whenever there's an approval. So yeah, so we can just put in our parameters here: the initial amount, don't copy me the name, the symbol, and decimal points. So you just go transact, and that didn't work. Something happened. Oh, yes, of course. I think we have to connect the MetaMask here. Objective Web3, and MetaMask is connected on Goerli. Should be. Compile. It's connected. Sometimes you have to go to MetaMask. Oh, yeah. So in MetaMask, you have to sometimes it connects automatically, sometimes it doesn't. So on the top left here, there's a thing that says not connected. So I have to connect it. Find the connect button on the site. Oh, that's weird. Usually connects by itself. Okay, so let's refresh here. HTTPS, HTTP. Oh, actually, for this to work, I actually have to go to http.remix.ethereum.org. Welcome to the little finicky details of blockchain development sometimes. You have to do little things to get it to work. Oh, it's not letting me go to HTTP. HTTP remix.ethereum.org. Okay. So it's routing me directly to HTTPS. That's a problem with Brave. So Chrome doesn't do that. Okay, well, there you go. It's working anyways. Sometimes you just have to restart it and stuff. So connect. All right, so don't copy the token, compile. So now if I go to MetaMask, just double check you're on the right network, right? So I'm on Goerli, and it does indeed say connected while I'm on Remix. So that means MetaMask is connected to Remix. So what we're going to do is we're going to deploy this contract. Okay, I lost all my parameters, but that's all right. So 1,000 coins, token name, don't copy the coin, and then I just know that there's going to be some people who are going to literally call it a coin, don't copy me coin. And the token symbol, token symbol. Let's just make this easy. Let's give it 3 decimal points and then add 3 zeros. So let's go transact. And you should get a MetaMask pop-up like this. So you can go to see the details. There's a gas price. It's a test net, so it's low compared to the mainnet. Gas limit. These are all automatically configured for you. And just press confirm. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yep,
Hello?
I'm hearing you, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
So when you're on MetaMask, you can go to activity, and you can go and you can see the transaction on Etherscan, which is a blockchain explorer. So you can basically confirm that when your transaction is getting deployed on Etherscan. Looks like it just got deployed. Oh no, not yet. Hold on. Okay, looks like it just got deployed. So I'll just refresh that until we see it on Etherscan. Etherscan takes some time to update sometimes. Yeah, so yeah, there we go. Okay, so we see there's a transaction on our account on Etherscan, and there's a transaction hash. You can see it's from our address, and it says that the transaction was sent to a contract creation. Now, when you deploy a contract, it counts as a transaction sent to the contract, and basically a new address is like supplied for your contract, and this address becomes a contract address. Yeah, there's 2 types of addresses: user accounts and contract addresses. What you have in MetaMask, these are user accounts, and when you deploy a contract, it becomes a contract address. So yeah, so we have this now. At any point, Etherscan should be able to pick it up as a token. That also takes a while. And I haven't tested this on Goerli, so I'm not 100% sure that Goerli will do it, but it should. It should. And you'll be able to see that there's a token on Goerli. But yeah, if it doesn't, then I know that on Robson it shows you, where we just had some trouble getting some Robson F. Okay, anyways. The next thing to do is to take the address, the contract address, and go to MetaMask. Oh, sorry, not that address. This contract address here. So copy this. This is your token address. So you take that and you go to MetaMask, and you just go to assets and you add the token. So assets, add token, and then custom token, and you paste the contract address in there, and press next. And then you can add the token, and looks like I have 1,000 coins. So now it's just in my MetaMask, it's visible. I can send it around. If people want to try this out, then just send me your MetaMask address, and put this contract in your MetaMask, and I will send you some tokens. And also, if you want to send me some of your tokens, then give me your contract address that you just deployed. Is there anyone trying to deploy a contract right now that's having trouble that I can help with? Nope. Well, this is this is basically the last part. So, okay, yes, you're getting an error. What is your error? And which part are you stuck at? Yeah, so after we deploy our contract, then we just we can interact with it inside MetaMask.
If anyone's having like a major issue or an error like Jerome, if you would like, you can come on, we can invite you on the cast, and you can share your screen, and we can try and live debug this, and
Yeah.
you know, hopefully it will be beneficial for everyone to see what kind of error you're facing, and we can
So I
debug
see
it together.
there's at least one person who deployed a smart contract. I'm going to go ahead and add it into my MetaMask. So I'm adding it into my MetaMask. So Norbert created a token. Symbol must be 11 characters or fewer. Looks like you created the symbol with more than 11 characters. So I'm just going to make up my own symbol here. I know that's not the name of your coin, but it doesn't let me put your real one because on MetaMask it requires that to be 11 characters or less, unfortunately. But here's my address, Norbert. If you send me some of your tokens, it will show up on my MetaMask. So you do that, and then we can see. Okay, so Sajid said, can't select injected Web3. So yeah, for that, the injected Web3 is actually coming from MetaMask. So that means that you're having an issue with MetaMask. Either you haven't installed it, or you haven't put it on the correct network, put it on Goerli. Also, you need to press this connect button here. So refresh remix and then press the connect button and see if that helps.
Okay, so
let us know if you're still experiencing troubles after that.
So we've got Jerome here.
Then we've got Jerome. Yes, this contract may be abstract.
I've invited him to the screencast. So Jerome, if you hover over your face, you should see a share screen option, and if you just share the screen with your error, then we can take a look at it.
I think what's going on is you're using a higher version of Solidity, is my guess. So yeah, let's try to see.
Can you hear us, Jerome?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sweet. And there's your screen. I'm gonna make it the big screen. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look here.
Okay, yeah, so first of all, environment needs to be injected Web3 at the top left.
Where's that?
I can see it says JavaScript VM.
Okay.
Okay. Go to your MetaMask quickly, make sure it's connected. You should have it as the browser extension so see if you can open it as the browser extension.
So see where the puzzle piece right beside J?
Yeah, this one?
Yeah, see, click there and see if you have MetaMask in that list. There we go.
Okay, yeah. So you need to connect MetaMask. So Norbert, can you send me some of your token, some of your coin to my address?
Okay, so I think you just connected it, right? You
Yeah.
accepted. Okay, jump back to your contract now, and then try and run it.
Okay, so just compile it again. The contract may be abstract. Okay, so yeah, I can't see your screen too well. It's kind of blurry.
Yeah, if we wait a second, it should buffer a little bit. But as if we jump back from tab to tab, it needs to like rebuffer the screen.
Can you see it?
Okay, so let's see your code. Can you scroll all the way to the top, please? Okay, looks like it's compiling. Okay, so okay. Oh, okay. Yes. So actually, I did forget to mention, when you're deploying your contract, you have to select the right one. So above the deploy button, there's a drop-down menu, and you have to select the right contract. Yeah, you tried to deploy the interface. That's why it says abstract.
Okay.
Yeah, so you should be able to figure out which one to deploy. It's the ERP20.
This one? This is the interface.
Yeah, you should only have two options. You just have to select the drop-down menu above the deploy button.
This one?
Yeah.
It's only giving me one option.
You have to compile the EIP20 contract. Wait, click on it. There's only one option. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which contract did you compile?
This one.
Contract EIP20. Compile it again. It should give you more than one option. Okay, now go back to the other menu. Yeah.
I think that's the one there now. LuxiCoin, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Before deploying it, you need to add the parameters. So open up the parameters, the little arrow to the right of deploy. Yeah. And you got to put in your parameters there. You can also hard code it as well. By the way, hard code it into the smart contract. But yeah, put in your parameters there. And you got to put the strings inside quotes. And the ticker, yes, the ticker and the name. I wouldn't put spaces. And also, you have to put it inside quotation marks.
Okay, one sec.
Does anyone else have any problems? Let's see if I have tokens from Norbert. Oh wait, no. Is that a contract address or an address? Oh, my bad, Norbert. I thought you had deployed a contract. I'm going to send you tokens now.
And then, so for the decimal units, you said 18?
Yeah, 18 should be good.
Well, you can put whatever you want. 18 is kind of like the standard amount, but...
So just put 1.8 then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sent you tokens, Norbert. You want to see them inside MetaMask? What you got to do is you got to take my contract address and add it into MetaMask. So my contract address is here.
Uh-oh.
So I think there's now a MetaMask transaction that you need to sign there.
Mm-hmm.
If you click on your MetaMask.
Yeah. So I would put an initial amount because there's no other way of creating. Yeah. So just put an initial amount, and don't forget to add 18 zeros because you put 18 as your decimals. Just cancel that transaction and put in an initial amount. Otherwise, it's going to be 0.
So where should I put that in?
Yeah, you can see there where it says initial amount at the top.
The first field under deploy. On the left-hand side, under deploy, the first field says initial amount.
Yeah. Yeah, you could also hard code it as well.
Right
but
here.
yeah, don't forget to add the 18 zeros. No quotes for that one.
So just add 18 zeros and then
Well,
whatever amount.
Choose the amount that you want to be your initial amount, and then whatever that is, add 18 zeros. No, don't put a decimal point.
No decimal point?
Let's say you want 1,000 tokens, then put 1,000 and then add 18 zeros to it.
Okay.
And no decimal point. You got to get rid of that decimal point.
Okay,
oh no. Oh, sorry. I couldn't see the screen properly. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, you got to add 18 decimals to whatever you want.
There. Now I press transact.
Yeah. Oh, are you on the mainnet? Looks like you're deploying a mainnet token. Now go to MetaMask. There's a pending transaction on MetaMask now.
A browser extension.
Yep.
Yeah, you're on the mainnet. So if you deploy that token, it's going to cost you gas. You can do that if you want, but I would recommend.
Good thing you don't have any ETH in your wallet, or else
unless this is a real token that you want to play around with, then you can just go ahead and do that.
Yeah. So you want to switch where it says main Ether network. You want to switch.
That's true.
Where can I switch it?
Where the
switch
drop
your
down
token
is
at the top of MetaMask.
Yeah.
So switch to Gorily. Okay, now you need Gorily testnet ETH. So look up the Gorily testnet faucet. I'll send you a link as well.
So the link is in the chat. You just got to scroll up a little bit, or
you've already done that. Oh wait, do you have? I didn't see any ETH in your wallet though.
There it is.
Oh yeah, you got it. Okay, so now refresh Remix and deploy again. You got to refresh Remix.
Refresh it?
Refresh Remix, yeah.
Refresh, yeah.
Click reload.
Yeah. Looks like you still have a pending transaction on MetaMask. Just go ahead and reject it on MetaMask as well.
So when you want to interact with MetaMask, just use the extension in the top right there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier than.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like use this.
Close the browser tab just to. Yeah. You can go ahead and close the browser tab. So go to MetaMask. There's a little notification there that means you have a pending transaction. So just or unapproved transaction.
Okay. Activity. I don't see the transaction.
Okay, maybe not. Well, okay, so just try and deploy now with the same process. First compile. You got to compile first. And then change the environment to injected above 3. No, on the other one, yeah. Top. So select the right contract to deploy above the deploy button. Okay, and then enter the parameters like before.
Okay.
Meanwhile, if there's anyone else who has issues of any kind, let us know. We can debug them for you. If not, you can come back and watch this again. Figure it out. Okay, now you can go to MetaMask and approve the transaction. Did it show up? I can't see your screen very well. It's laggy. Could you paste your address into the chat, Jerome?
Sure.
I want to see if your transaction is going through.
Thank you, by the way.
No worries. No worries. When you get a job, well, we're going to get a cut of your salary. No.
That's no problem.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, so I see that you have indeed deployed a contract. So I'm going to add your contract to my wallet here. And then you can send me some coins. I put my address in the chat. So if you just go ahead and send me some coins to that. First, you have to add it to your MetaMask. So you got to find the contract address, and you got to find the contract address of your token. So to do that, go to search your address on Etherscan. Copy your address and search it on Etherscan, and you'll see you'll be able to find your contract address.
Me personally?
Yeah. Take your address. Go to goerly.etherscan.io. And just paste your address in there. And then you'll find your contract address.
So this one.
Let's see.
So
Yeah,
I don't think we're seeing your screen anymore. But I just looked it up on Etherscan. I think this is the contract address that I just.
That is the contract address. That's correct.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
When I do that, you can still see it.
There we go.
Is it still there? I don't. Yeah. I can still see your screen. Hold on.
So which one should I?
Well, it should say that it's a contract.
This one, yeah.
So Jordan found your address as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can just take that and put it into MetaMask as a token. So when you go to MetaMask, you go to Assets, and you go to Add Token. And then once you do that, we can send it to each other.
Asset Add Token.
Yeah, and it should automatically put in the symbol and the decimals.
Yep.
Cool. So do that. Now I actually gave you my address above, the one that says 0xAC. So if you send me some tokens, that'd be good. And then we can see that I have received them. So Sajjad just gave a contract address. Looks like that's his address. Okay, Sajjad, you have not deployed a smart contract yet. but I will send you some of my tokens anyways. I sent Jerome, Sajed, and Norbert each 10 tokens. So if you add my contract address into MetaMask, you'll be able to see the tokens that I created. Yeah, I'm still. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my screen or no?
No, we don't see your screen right now. We're still looking at Jerome's screen. Did we
Do you
get
want me
to the bottom
close
of?
my screen?
Okay, I'm sharing my screen again. Okay, so you guys see my screen now?
I'm making it the main thing. Yeah, no, we got your screen big.
Yeah. So if, now on my screen, I now own 500 LXC. That is the token that Jerome created. So Jerome sent me some of his tokens.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We did this live, guys.
Yeah. So we just created a currency and started sending it to each other. Yeah.
That's super cool. I'm
glad. And all of you who gave me your addresses, I also sent you some DCMC.
Don't copy me coin.
Yeah, don't copy me coin.
This is amazing. This is the first time we've tried to do some live, screen sharing, live debugging during a workshop. And, where there were some hitches, I think we eventually made it to a successful outcome. This is super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Now you can see that I send 500 LXC.
Yes, I have some of your coins.
Awesome.
I'm waiting for the mainnet version now.
Thank you. Thanks so much for being the brave one and coming on screen, Jerome. I'm super glad. Yeah.
No problem. It was a learning experience.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I hope all of you guys learned something today, and that is it. If there's anyone else who wants to receive coins or practice, just let me know. We'll do that. But that's all I got for today. And
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's. I'm gonna boot you off the cast, Jerome. But again, thank you for coming on the cast. And,
no problem.
Yeah. Let me just close this, and I'm gonna come back on screen.
So Sajed just posted an address. Let's see if that's a contract. Okay, so Sajed, you made a contract. So I'm going to add that to my MetaMask as well and see if I get the tokens. So I just added it to MetaMask. The symbol is more than 11 characters, so I just have to call it Sajed. So Sajed, you have my address is in the chat above. 0xac35. So if you send me some tokens there, I'll be able to see it in my MetaMask and confirm that I have received it.
Cool.
That's
so
great.
This was an amazing workshop. I'm glad we were able to get to the bottom of everyone's issues. I see a question in the chat where we could find you on Discord. So I'm just going to post Antoine's specific Discord username. That hashtag and the number is like unique to him. So you can find him over there in the Discord, in the mentor chats. So if you're building your projects on Ethereum, you can always reach out there for some help. We'll wait like a few more seconds to see if there's any last minute questions. You can use the question box. Let's take a peek in on the polls to see where we ended up. Yes, we had 50-50 on people making new Ethereum tokens. Everybody wants to make their own currency. Oh, we finally got a vote on 1,000 or on thousands of currencies. So there's 10% of the vote is dedicated to people thinking that they need thousands of currencies in the world. 30% of folks think there should be one currency per person, and 20% are saying there should be one currency to rule them all. Always very interesting to see where people's heads at in terms of the crypto space and how spread out we are. But Yeah, I don't see any more questions in the chat, so I think we're going to start to wrap it up. But I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. This was super fun. I'd like to thank Antoine again for bringing his brilliant expertise into the
Thank you.
workshop. It was so great. And yeah, so we have another amazing week of talks and workshops planned for you guys starting tomorrow. We realize that it's Thanksgiving weekend, so for the folks that are living in Canada, I know Americans they have theirs a little bit later, and elsewhere in the world, you might not even celebrate Thanksgiving. But in Canada, where we're at, we got Thanksgiving this weekend, so we're gonna take a break for this evening, and we'll have a workshop tomorrow morning. But we'll take a break for the evening tomorrow as well. But then for the rest of the week on Wednesday, Friday, and again next weekend, Sunday, we have some great workshops coming up for you. Be sure to follow our Crowdcast and sign up for each talk that you're interested in so you get notifications. If you need any help with your hackathon projects, please reach out to us in the Discord channel and check out our portal.blockhack.ca. And we have lots of resources there, lots of education resources, lots of entrepreneurial resources, how to build a pitch, samples for your pitch decks. And we also have all the information on submission requirements and prizes. And again, if we missed anything, please let us know in the Discord and we're going to take care of you there. One more thing I'm going to drop in the chat is a quick survey on how you liked this workshop. Feel free to go over there. It takes about a minute. Just rate us on a scale 1 to 5. Give us any feedback that you have, and we'll be sure to continue to improve and make these workshops better to deliver value for you guys. So on that note, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating it, a happy weekend otherwise, and I look forward to seeing what you guys are building, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next coming week in our workshops and talks. And on that note, I will bid you folks adieu for the next till the next workshop. Take care, guys.
Take care.